Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Black Heel podcast where Mike and I are going to be talking about the entirety of the series Wonder Man, and then we'll be ending with a character spotlight from Mike. So, Mike, I know I got your overall thought on it yesterday when we were recording. You liked it, you loved it, you thought it was one of the best. Agreed?
I no,
Or did
no,
I
I
go too
did.
far? Did I go too
No,
far? Okay.
no, you didn't
I
go
want to
too
make
far.
sure.
I thought this was one of the best MCU shows, and it's interesting that the ones that they're going out of left field on are the
Are the
ones that are the better
best.
success. Um, you
So
know,
I kind of have to agree with you. Like the ones that I've loved the most. Now, granted, I told you this because of WandaVision. I actually had high hopes for Wonder Man. Okay, I knew it'd be different, but meaning like because WandaVision was so different, I was like, and we liked it so much, right? Loki, I don't know. Loki's a weird one because it was different, but at the same time was more Marvel than the rest of them.
I think Loki was just so good that it
It
didn't really deviate, but because it was, I think that was really the first one where it was like a focus on a villain.
a villain's story arc where
Yeah.
it was to change them. No, I agree. So it was still different,
This
but
this
like
was the real this was also I'm not really counting the other two, but I'm not counting Wanda and Quicksilver, but like this is the beginning of the villain redemption arc, and
yes,
so like that was the first time that they did it, and it was so different, and had so many cliffhangers, um, and then obviously when they so after WandaVision, after Loki, they went Falcon and Winter Soldier, which wasn't bad show, but because it was back to the
no,
same old thing, it was like, okay, this isn't
and
as
we had
exciting anymore.
we had talked about that. Like Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to be first, but
Yeah,
because of COVID and everything else, WandaVision was the easiest to film,
yeah,
so that's why it came out first. However, if they would have done it the order that they wanted to originally, I don't think we would have been as critical
oh
of
yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. But it was because it wasn't bad. It was just it was kind of the same. You know what I mean? Like
I
it was a
haven't watched
movie
it.
in a show form.
I haven't watched it since it came out, so I'm wondering if I go back and watch it, if I'm going to feel the same way, or
That's
if now I'm
fair.
going to have a different appreciation for it.
But yeah, and then like so yeah, the big ones for me that are the difference was WandaVision. Loki, I'm gonna still add that to the list because it was still different, even though the format was the same.
Yeah,
Um, and Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. Yep. Which
I
actually
mean,
has a very like as time has passed. I don't know if this is just bots, but like it's very mixed now. People either love it or they absolutely despise it.
which which based on the show itself, it does make sense because you don't know what's real and what's not,
Yeah.
and I think that does ruin people.
But
Um,
what I've been seeing is more people hate it because it's such a they say it's such a stark difference from its comic origin. Um,
which is also, I mean, I do get that, but I think that's what makes it. I don't know. To me, that's what makes it a little bit more unique because no offense to people who like Moon Knight, Moon Knight is not a big character,
yeah,
so it's like it's not like although everyone likes seeing the little like the comic like
yeah,
frames of like him saying like random stuff. Realistically, most the average person really doesn't know him.
yeah. I didn't know him until he was announced. So
Like I knew of him, but I knew nothing of his like multiple personalities. He was literally the embodiment of a god because in the comics they think he's just crazy, and
oh
like
yeah,
in this one they've decided he's both, which doesn't ruin anything in my
no.
opinion.
I think it works better with the character, and it kind
I
of gives.
agree.
And to be honest, it kind of like one of the good things about it is it like gives it does do a good job with giving a perspective of multiple personality
Yep.
disorder. They're taking these real issues and putting them in. That's what Marvel has always been great at, is bringing
And
real
that
life into art.
and they did that with Wonder Man specifically too. Like with
Yes.
him, with the big thing for me was him being an outcast even in his own family.
Yeah.
um One hit me, I'm not gonna lie to you, this show hit me in the feels more than more than a lot of the other shows. I think honestly, all seriousness, this is the first show where I actually almost teared up.
You know what, I'm gonna go out and I don't know how close you felt about it before, but I'm gonna say this Wonder Man to you was Thunderbolts to me.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to agree with you because I don't know if it was just the phrasing that they used, but it hit home hard,
Yeah.
like really hard. I think it was you know what was the killer for me really? Was the family
What?
party was when
Oh yeah.
he's like they're all asking about his life and everything else, and then they're just bad mouthing him. Like I I I have felt that way too many times. Um,
Yeah.
and just like yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, and I loved his mother. His mother was incredible. Um, she was perfect. I also loved his brother because they did such a great job of the love-hate relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. They did.
Because it didn't feel fake. Meaning like when he was a jerk to Simon and when he was nice to Simon, because he was technically until the very end, he's actually not nice to Simon.
Yeah.
He talks nice about Simon.
He talks nice about him, but he's always disappointed in him because he knows he can accomplish more.
Well, that's the whole thing where it comes off as hating when it's really like I expect
a concerned.
It's like I expect better from you because of your talent and everything else.
Yeah. But at the same time, like I understand both sides of it because it's like,
yeah.
It's like from Simon's point of view, it's like you should be supporting me, but from his point of view, which he is, but at this point he's like, okay, it's time to move on. Whereas
if it's not working,
in Eric's mind, it's like I care about you, which is why I'm being so harsh on you.
Yeah, it's like if you haven't made it yet, or you haven't even gotten a gig, like maybe you should be thinking of other plans.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, which is unfortunate because it seems like he's succeeding, but because he cares so much, it ends up backfiring because like we saw with him trying out for American Horror Story, like they turned him away because he cared so much. Tried to like make his role as important as he could, and everyone's like, he's tough, he's difficult to work with, I don't want to deal with him.
Also, I have to say too, I don't know if you noticed this, but there was a lot of characters that were real people, meaning like real people. They played themselves.
I didn't realize that. I was wondering when they were doing the American Horror Story part if like any of that was like from.
So I will say this: the names of the people were accurate. However, the people who were in the show, like the actress that was there, she's a real actress who did play in Twilight. However, she's not been in American Horror Stories.
Ah, okay.
So it was one of those things where it was like she's a real actress and she's playing herself. Mm-hmm. But the show that they were filming, although is a real show in the sense of American Horror Story,
it was a fake.
That season was fake, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
And Trevor's archenemy, was also playing himself.
Oh, was he?
Yes. Which I find to be hilarious. Now, obviously, an exaggerated version of himself, but still.
Well, for all we know.
Well, I'll say it this way: the thought is he was playing an exaggerated version of himself.
Yeah, it's so like some of these characters were taking like I don't know if I think you saw it with us when we were in college. I think it's called This Is the End. It was that like apocalypse comedy movie that was with Seth
with Jonah Hill, James Franco, Seth Rogen in it.
Seth Rogen was in it. It was him and James Franco were the two mains aside for the third. I always forget the third actor's name. It's like,
well, there were a lot of actors. Wasn't Jonah Hill in it too, or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, Jonah Hill was in it. It was one of those things where it was like everyone was playing themselves, but in an exaggerated role.
Yes. Yeah, because they were all themselves.
Yeah, they were just regular people, and then it's like once the apocalypse hit, like it's like, oh, who's going to hell and who's actually going to heaven?
Yes, and then Josh Gad was in it too. So I don't know if you know who he is. He was the big guy that was that got Doorman to be Doorman.
The big time actor.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know who he is?
I recognized him. I just didn't know where I saw.
So it's funny you recognize him because he's more. No, this is so funny to say. He's more known as the Disney character Olaf, the snowman.
Oh, really? Really?
He's the voice of the snowman. Oh. He also played in Disney, The Beauty and the Beast. He played LeFou,
Oh,
the
okay.
guy that's into Gaston.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Wait, the animated or the live action?
Live action.
Okay.
The animated was, I think
Well, it was a long
he's
time
R
ago,
rated.
so yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, if that was the case, he would be really young, or if they did like a remake or something. I don't know if they did
Well,
some
no,
kind
they
of
did the
remake.
live action one, so he was him in the live action.
Yeah, okay,
Um,
so that's like I remember I like when I looked at him, I'm like his face looks familiar. So maybe when I
well, because
looked up Olaf
he's a
or
face you can't forget. He's also done a lot of Broadway stuff, but you wouldn't know that. No offense to you.
yeah,
Um, he's really not known, in my opinion, as a like physical actor in the sense of like you don't see him a lot as himself, like meaning
yeah,
like in a live action standpoint.
hmm
Not to say he hasn't. I mean, he's done a horror film. He's done a couple of things, but I don't think you've seen any of them. So that's the only reason why I don't bring him up. He plays like a Pee Wee
I haven't
Herman.
I haven't seen
He,
horror movies in a long time because Steph doesn't like watching horror. So
that's
unless
fine.
unless a friend wants to watch it,
Well, anyway, so it's a Hulu. It was a Hulu exclusive movie where he plays like a Pee Wee Herman character. Um, and so like the zombie apocalypse happens, and on a kindergarten school trip, and so he's there as like the mascot and getting everyone excited, and then the zombies come, and he acts like himself, which is a drunk alcoholic who's a womanizer,
no,
in front of these children, and it's just it's pretty. It's a horror comedy, I believe, is what it's actually on there. But
right,
anyway, so I thought it was kind of cool seeing like real actors playing themselves
yeah,
in that kind of light. Um, so we had talked about this a little bit. Mike was kind of like confused by the doorman episode until it fully went through.
yeah.
So in the first episode, I just want to reiterate that all actors in Hollywood, after which we don't know yet in episode one, I mean, they have to sign a doorman release stating that they do not have superpowers in any way.
I remembers that being mentioned, but as I was watching the show, uh, I probably forgot about it. So when the fact that that
Well,
episode came in, it was like, okay, this is kind of weird. Like it's coming out of nowhere, and then like as it got to the end, I'm like, okay, clearly something's going to happen because we don't know about this guy.
no,
Um,
correct. My big thing was they made it seem like because of him, no supers were allowed in movies. So when it starts, he's just literally a doorman. So I'm
yeah,
like, well, how does he? How does this relate to Hollywood?
yeah, yeah.
I will admit that I at least got that part. I knew who he was because his nickname is the doorman. Because when Josh Gad comes in, he calls
hmm
him the doorman. So that's why I was like, okay, so this is the guy, but like, how do we get here? Like, how do we get from this to now? Nobody in Hollywood's allowed to have superpowers.
Yeah,
Um, Also, the fact that they wanted to use him instead of special effects is just funny to me, but also makes sense because it saves them a lot of money.
saves them a lot of money. Say, I mean, I mean, obviously that's the big one, and it makes it like a bigger thing because it's like, oh, we're not using special effects, we're using real, they're willing to do their own stunts kind of thing or whatever. Um,
Yes. So I was wrong at what Doorman is because I think I said he was a mutant.
when yesterday?
No, no. I think when we were first talking about him, when he was announced as a character in the series.
Oh, I don't remember.
So he's like Spider Man, where he's not a mutant, he's a mutate.
Oh, okay, that makes sense because he wasn't born with the powers, he gained them.
It's not in his DNA. Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm getting at. I mean, tomato, tomato. I really hate saying it that way, but it's like,
yeah,
but it's just they classify it different in the sense of a mutant is the one with the gene, whereas a mutate is somebody who mutated after birth.
hmm
Um, Yeah. It also, I wish they kind of went into more detail about his powers a little bit.
I think the vagueness of it because he didn't understand them and no one
You
else
know
did.
what? And especially because it was a problem that does make sense.
Yeah,
But seeing all the doorways was awesome.
yeah. I mean, I think it's like one of those things. So I don't know if you saw this, but like after that episode, after Wonder Man aired, the next day, everyone was it was all over social media where like Marvel was posting, it's like, oh, have you seen so and so? He's gone missing. He last
Oh
seen
yeah, yeah.
44 years old. I'm like, I thought that was really cool.
No, they
Um,
did a good job with that because I thought that was kind of cool because that one because they never like they never state like he was ever found again.
yeah, which I mean, obviously in this situation, like it's like he's not, or I mean, he might be at this point, but like he didn't die, I don't think, because he just got it went into him, and like he could have entered into one of those
My
millions of
thought process
doorways.
my thought process is he's stuck in the void.
Okay, yeah, I mean, he's either stuck in it or he went into the
He's
wrong door and no one could track him down.
I mean that's also a possibility too. My thought process is he's stuck in the void because when he throws up, his powers shut off, so
Hmm.
therefore the doors are shut, all of them.
Okay.
That's how I take it. That doesn't mean I'm right. That doesn't mean I'm right. I'm just taking it that way.
So the way I saw, like my thought process was,
Yep.
which I mean, yours is probably a lot more valid, but it was like me being a casual viewer in this sense was like he goes in, his throw up was like him going into the wrong portal where it goes into like the ocean, and like his spit up is the water, like in that kind of sense. Um,
That's funny because so it's funny you say that because I took it differently because as we know, people's bodies are their power, meaning
yeah.
like you have to work on your body to use your powers better. That's
Hmm.
just an always thing. That's why the X-Men are buff and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
not because they necessarily need it for their powers. They need it because they have to have their bodies in the peak shape to be able to use their powers to their full extent. And I'm putting that in quotes because there's still limit breakers and stuff like that.
yeah. I
But
mean, yeah,
overall, like the more fit you are, the more likely you are to use your powers to the best of their ability. And so because he was high, drunk all the time and everything else, he
yeah.
wasn't able to use it properly and he threw up because he was I would imagine he was hungover and that takes a strain on your body.
Oh
And
yeah,
so he threw
you could
up.
see that every time
No, no, it
someone was
was.
going on, it was hurting him and whatnot.
But he got used to it except for when the point of him getting sick, like to the
Yeah.
point of drinking and using well, I don't think we actually see him use drugs. Um, he was definitely
No,
drinking heavily.
we only ever saw him drinking.
That's right.
But like
Um,
when so like I agree with that where it's like because he was so drunk and hungover, he didn't have, like you said, he didn't have control of his powers. So
yeah,
he couldn't tell. I'm blanking on the guy's name, but he couldn't tell him to go
Josh.
from point Josh. He couldn't tell Josh from to go from point A to point B. Instead, it was okay. Here's point A. I can't control it anymore, so you're gonna go to point Z. So like
Oh yeah, you're
thus,
thinking that way, and I get that. I took it as when he threw up, and then remember he tried to like touch his gut, and he
yeah,
couldn't go through. Is where I was like, oh, he's stuck in the void.
yeah, yeah. I mean that's also fair. Yeah,
I'm also curious of what happened to him, meaning not so much Josh, but like Doorman,
Doorman.
because
Yeah,
we
because we after that incident, we never see him again.
no, and I even was trying to look for him in the prison,
Yeah,
and I know. But by the way, I noticed nobody in the prison. By the way,
they only focused on the ones they wanted us to see. They didn't want any like sneak peeks in the back.
but there, I don't know if you noticed, there was one that confused me because it was empty and had a massive blood spot in the back.
I didn't see that. No.
So there were four prison cells in general that we saw. The fourth one being the one, spoiler alert, Trevor's in. The three before it, there was a silhouette, and then there was no silhouette in the third one, and it was just a red, like what I can't say for sure it was blood, but it was like a red spot in the back that alluded to blood, in my opinion.
Huh.
No idea who it could be. I was just curious if you noticed it. It was one of those like quick if you didn't see it type of thing. But there was
Yeah.
nobody else like I noticed. Also, so the reason why I'm bringing up the jail is because the idea is the U.S. government, aka Damage Control, is under suspicion that Simon Williams has superpowers. They can't prove it yet, or else they would have already arrested him.
I thought it was that they knew he had powers. They just needed proof that he was dangerous.
I think so here's how I took it. I took it as there was too many weird stuff that was happening around him in his life that there's no way that they thought he couldn't have powers, but they didn't know it. Like they couldn't prove by in a court of law that he had powers, if you understand what I mean. Although they assumed he did, that's how I took it.
Okay. I mean, that's also fair. I mean, either way, to be
Oh,
honest, the way that I mean, whether it's I'm right or you're right, it's leading
it's
to
the
the
same
same
thing.
goal.
No, it
Yeah.
actually leads to the same thing, which is a rarity
Yeah.
for us. Meaning, like if we're different from each other, we still get the same answer. Because you're right. In this situation, they do. So Trevor goes back to Hollywood after the Shang-Chi incident, and then gets tackled by the FBI, which confuses me, by the way, that he got attacked by the FBI and not Damage Control, because
I
then
mean,
Damage Control was talking to him.
it might have been like a working together kind of thing, you know.
I guess. We also don't know the hierarchy of agencies, because we don't know if FBI is above or
That's fair.
below Damage Control. I'm assuming below, just because Damage Control deals with all soups, and so in this situation, I think the Mandarin would be considered like a even though he's not super powered, he is like a super villain.
He's a
Weirdly
super
enough,
villain, yeah. He's a villain no matter what with
no,
power,
no, yeah.
even though they know
Uh,
he's not.
which is the other thing that threw me off, but whatever. But yeah, I also loved how he quickly like joined the ranks. Like option one, you go back to prison. Option two, I'll take that one.
Yeah. No question. No question.
Didn't even let him finish the statement, which is even funnier. And the guy stopped talking too. By the way, he was like, "Fine, I'm not going to tell you the rest."
Yep.
The other piece too is the heavy like foreshadowing of all of this in like the first couple of episodes. Like we talked about um oh shoot, we talked about the show he was on, the Doctor Show, where the guy took over for his part, or not his part, but took over as the lead. The Doctor Show. Remember the show that
Oh yeah.
um
You're talking about Trevor in that case. Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm sorry, I'm talking about Trevor. I apologize. Um, yeah, it was so everything about Trevor was perfect. I'm not gonna lie to you. I also
Yeah.
love that we can actually see when Trevor starts to actually like not want to work with Damage Control anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like obviously from the beginning he didn't really want to, but like as
But
he got to know Simon more and more,
it got worse. Is what I was
it was
making.
becoming
Yeah.
harder. Yeah. Um, you know, especially because he's like, I already was released from prison. Like you guys are jerks.
Yeah.
But you know, I definitely I loved Trevor. Like he was a great mentor. He was a great friend in this. Obviously, like still looking out for him and trying to better him at the end. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I loved it. It's, you know, like him not trusting the kids and whatnot, and just falling in love with the like when Simon saves Trevor from the gang.
Oh yeah.
And the kid records him and they track him down, and you know he's like, I don't trust this guy, and then the other group of kids end up giving him like flavored candy. He's like, oh, these are the greatest kids ever, we trust them no matter what.
Simon, I promise you, if you taste this peach, you will definitely understand where I'm coming from.
you will trust this kid to the end of the world.
honestly, Simon, if you can't understand until you've eaten the peach. And it was just it's the dumbest line, but it's so Trevor.
It very much is I loved it.
I think the best part too was the fact of like when the Damage Control officer, whatever you want, agent, I don't know what you want to call him, sees Trevor at the restaurant and is like, yeah, so you're gonna be, yeah, you better tell him that you're gonna go. And he goes, no, that's not something I would do. He goes, you need to give me a minute. I am playing the role of Trevor. I know best.
Yeah.
And the sitting in silence was perfect. Hello. And he goes, fine. It is time. I've just walked away from my bookcase, walked to my phone to see if anybody's messaged me. Oh, look, he wants to meet today. Oh, I don't know if I can, Simon. Just say yes. I would never say that. But you know what? I could move a couple of things around and we could definitely do this now if you're available. It was just so perfect in every way. I also like the fact too of Simon being too much in his head, and that's what was ruining his potential in all aspects, including his powers as well. Which is also an interesting thing because his powers were not the focus of the show, which is weird to think about because it was the main reason why the action was happening. Meaning, like, because of his powers, people were hunting him down.
Yeah, yeah. No, I thought that it was such a great twist in that sense because it wasn't just like superhero coming in fighting things or people coming after him and him fighting people off. It was just a regular guy trying a super powered guy trying to be a regular guy. Um, and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and it worked. And I have to say, like before, when the first trailer of Wonder Man dropped, you had said that Damage Control is going to be the main antagonist of the show, and I had said we don't really know that they could just be there and just
they
which
were just
you were
there.
right in that sense. Yeah,
Well,
they
I
well
felt like
like they were the main antagonist, but they were also kind of just there.
is honestly who was the main antagonist. To be honest with you, was actually Simon himself.
Yeah, yeah, it was
So
himself.
like
Yeah,
because of the way they did the show, right? Not to say that the Damage Control was not the bad guys; they still were in the stereotypical sense. However, it was more the fact of Simon being against himself was what was the main issue, which is what he had to
yeah,
overcome to be able to be him actual self. I mean, the so the whole premise of the movie, the show, is that Simon is trying to make it in Hollywood. There's now this big movie from this incredible director, and they were going to remake a movie called Wonder Man. And the reason why this director wanted to do it was because now they have real life superheroes in the world. How can we portray this character now knowing what superheroes are actually like in real life?
hmm
We've seen them in action doing real heroic stuff. Will that change the story of this character? And yeah, it did.
yeah.
But
And
that
it
was the
was
whole
so
premise.
important to Simon because this was his father had taken him to see the movie, and he had a deep connection to that movie.
The whole Simon backstory just hurt me in every shape and form.
Yeah,
There was not a flashback that didn't make me sad.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Even like the one that wasn't that bad, which was when the fire broke out and he didn't like get any damage, but he felt like a freak.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Especially because everyone keeps calling him that. So,
yeah. Oh, that's another thing we have to talk
oh,
about in a minute.
when they were when Von Kovac asked him to do
So no,
do
before
the
we get to that,
acting.
because that one, because no, that freaked me out because I was like, I don't know where we're going.
Uh-huh.
So the idea was he goes through the audition process, he gets a callback, although he doesn't know it right away, obviously, blah blah blah. So then they go to this retreat at Kovac's house. Kovac or Vote Kovac, right? Von
Kovac,
Kovac.
yeah.
Yeah.
Vaughn
So
Vaughn is technically his first name, I believe.
yes. But I wondered if I was, because I say the full name, am I saying too much of the first? You know what I'm saying? Like I thought I was. His last name might not have been Kovac. It could have been like Vac.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
more of what
yeah.
I'm saying. Anyway, so they do the callback, and also Trevor gets a callback as well as Barnaby.
hmm
And it turns out, which is also another subtext that I really like too, was they heavily foreshadowed Trevor turning on Simon, even though we already knew technically, but like they were heavily hinting like he's playing as Barnaby who turns on Wonder Man. He's like, but he's an only friend. And I was like, man, this is messed up because this is exactly his life. Um,
Yep.
so
It was the perfect parallel.
it was the perfect parallel, and what was weird is we knew reality before fake reality, if you understand what I mean. Like we knew Trevor was betraying Simon before that we found out the script. But the fact that the script was like that, it was like, whoa.
Yep.
So like Trevor had an easier time playing this role, even though he wasn't trying to hurt Simon at this point. But like, oh. So what Mike was talking about was at Kovac's house. They were doing these like scenes together, right? And
There was like they invited the finalists for the role to Kovac's house, and
yeah,
it
they
was
normally
like
do like two or
six
three.
people.
Well, three for Wonder Man, three for Barnaby. The idea is
Yeah.
that's not atypical. I mean, every callback's different, but like it's normally down to like I think, and I don't know about Hollywood specifically, but I know in like theater in general, it's no more than a max of five for a callback. It's a rarity that they have more than that. unless there's like millions and millions of people who've auditioned, but like even then they kind of narrow it down to like a handful.
Mm.
But anyway, so the idea is they do these other auditions where you basically do screen tests. What that is you start working with the other actors to see, okay, you might be like, I thought of you as a great Wonder Man, but can you make a good Wonder Man and Barnaby?
Yeah.
So it's very similar to like if they had Batman and Robin, where they would have Batman and Robin, like they'd have a bunch of them kind of planned out, and then you would then have them kind of meet with each other, have the scenes and everything else, and you would decide, oh, is this a good, like he could be a good Robin, but he can't be a good Robin to this Batman. If you understand what I mean?
It's like I had talked to you about this before, is that Superman and Lois
Yes.
this year, one of the scenes in the movie was their audition.
Yeah.
I think it was the one where they were sitting talking to each other, and the Justice Gang was fighting the extra dimensional creature in the background.
Yeah, so the big thing too, just so you know, is normally in auditions you don't get to see the script at all. You don't really get to know much about it. You basically go in blind. You pretty much deliver. Sometimes they'll provide you with stuff that they want you to read that has not that to you has nothing to do with the movie or the show or anything else, but to them it portrays the character or the type of character that they're looking for. And then with callbacks, they normally do like actual snippets of the script itself, because
Yeah.
at that point you're thought of as the role, and now we need to feel like, can you bring this story to life?
Yeah.
Which is what happens in this, where we see him. So we see the conversation of, because the main focus was supposed to be Barnaby turning on Wonder Man. That was like originally going to be the scene that they were going to do the callback on, and then Kovac thought it was stupid and says, just do anything. And Kovac's definitely a weird guy, even from a director standpoint. But it was the second chance that Simon had with that weird audition of the callback, I mean, where it got very weird, and I thought he really punched the guy through his face.
I thought he did too. I thought he did too. Me and Steph were watching it, and we both just like jumped back and put hands to our mouths and were like, "Oh my god!"
I legitimately go, "Oh, he's in trouble now." Like I was like, "There's no way he's out of that," and I was like, I realized he was asleep. But then I thought the whole thing didn't happen, and then it turns out it all happened except for the punch, and I went, "Oh my goodness!" Like it was a double mind screw over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that was so good.
But it was also the point where he leaves, and then Trevor goes out there to tell him, like, "Hey, this is you.
Yeah.
Like this is you. You can be yourself, because you're not your powers. You're you. Your powers just happen to exist. You are the man. You are the person that it's supposed to be." And then that's what gets him and Trevor the part.
I thought it was interesting that Trevor was referring to his powers as his condition. I thought that was very interesting. Which I understand it, because to him, he sees it as a burden, but like, what?
Well, so this is going to sound very weird to say. You're taking it from that standpoint. A condition is a theater term where it's like his motivation type thing. So it's like, you're not completely in the wrong, but he was taking it from an actor standpoint. So like that's why he used that term. I understand why you took it that way. I took it that way because I took it differently, because Trevor is an actor. He's a professional actor.
You have that theater background, yeah.
Well, correct. And so the condition is the thought of like, this isn't like a condition is just more the fact of like your circumstance. Obviously, it has nothing to do with you. You still shape everything else. And that's kind of what, like, it's, think of it like Kovac when he's like, you're divorced and you hadn't eaten all day and you're hungry. You know, when he did that weird thing, like that's the condition, right? So yep. Simon's condition is his powers, where not so much like it's meant to be in the sense of like, oh, it's a burden for him, because I understand that it is, but the idea is from an acting standpoint, use that motivation to bring it out. And that's why that scene was so much better the second time he does it, because he's using himself as the source now.
Yeah.
Because
I think it's interesting that this can go both ways. Is that
but that's the other thing.
Someone without theater experience sees it from that perspective, like I just said, where it's like, you're not your condition, you're not you're Simon. You're not
Yep.
this powered being. Like, don't use it again. Don't hurt yourself. Whereas you are taking it from the theater standpoint, and like you just said, he can use that to help himself.
Correct.
Um,
And the reason why I say it that way is just because, and again, I don't think you're wrong at all, because it works either way. It
yeah.
works either way for sure. I'm only stating it that way is because Trevor is only an actor. Like I'm not trying to be a jerk to him.
No,
He
he
literally
is.
is only an actor. So he takes everything from an acting perspective. So that's why I took it that way. That being said, still was incredible. Either way, I mean, it works either way, but I think he's less of like Simon's Dangerous, mostly due to the fact of like Simon doesn't try to be a dangerous person.
Oh yeah.
And
No.
Trevor knows that.
He's just trying to be a regular guy.
But when I tell you, when he got heartbroken about finding out the interview, so they had to have this interview for Wonder Man, and Simon was really worried about it because of his powers, and it turns out everyone said great things about him.
Yeah.
He found out one of his exes, not his most recent ex. I don't think it was his most recent ex.
Oh, I thought that was his most recent ex.
Well, she got a haircut then because I didn't recognize her.
I swore that was his most recent ex.
Because if you saw the first episode, right, and then you watch her come back, she's got her hair is completely chopped off. It makes her whole face look different. So I don't think it's the same person, but I could be wrong.
I will look it up. I don't know if I'll be able to find that.
No, I know. But the idea was she knew there was something up with Simon specifically. We're still not convinced that. Like, I know this is going to sound very weird to say, but she left it so vague that I still wasn't 1,000% convinced they were talking about the same thing. Is that weird to say?
I'm sorry, one more time?
No, I said, like, the way she was talking about it, like him being different, she made it so vague that I wasn't even 1,000% confident that they were talking about the same thing necessarily.
Oh.
I assumed they were, but I wasn't. But yeah, he was so worried about that interview, and everyone said all these great things about him, and it was actually Trevor that got the the short end of the stick in the interview because of his arrest and everything else, which I thought was really funny because it makes sense that it was brought up, but I was not prepared for it whatsoever for that to be the reveal. Because I thought Trevor was going to be able to like admit it to him, and he did not get the chance to, which was it was definitely sad.
Oh yeah. No, they really knew how to pick their moments and like draw out like certain situations from.
They did everything perfect. And I talked to you about this. The one thing for me that was a problem was when he blows up the studio. It was it to me it looked a little too fakey, but I think it worked because it was a close-up shot of him and it was nighttime, but it looked I'm going to sound awful when I say this, but it looked fake in like a bad way, but it didn't ruin anything for me. Like it didn't, because it's that in and of itself was not the main point of the show, if you understand what I mean. Like the CGI didn't ruin anything because his powers weren't the main point of the show, as we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so then he becomes a major movie.
According to Google, it said the ex-girlfriend is played by the same actress the entire series.
Oh, so they just changed her outlook.
Her name was Vivian, and she was played by Olivia Thirlby. I believe.
I'll pretend like I know who that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my whole thing is, if you look at it side by side between those two scenes, she looks like a completely different person. That being said, they also demonstrated that time has passed too, because he got the part and they were filming and everything else. So, like, I do understand that piece. So there was a lot of time that passed, and maybe they wanted to demonstrate that because in Hollywood, you change your look a lot of the times, especially if you haven't gotten a gig yet.
Yeah. I mean, one of the other thing too is in episode 1 we were kind of seeing her moving around and she was hectic, so it wasn't like she was all dolled up. Whereas in the next time we saw her, because she was going to a drink and dinner with a friend.
Yes,
You
but
know,
I
she
think my big thing was the drastic difference in her hair, because her hair was like almost like waist length in the first episode, and then the second it was more shoulder length. But it doesn't matter because it can be the
I
same
didn't really
actor.
see that much of a difference, to be honest, at least to me.
Well, that's
But
fine. But you know what? It's because I think for me the reason why it looked more different was because I started rewatching it with my aunt again, because she hadn't seen it.
uh,
So I got to see, like, when I was at the episode where she comes back, she was just starting it, so I saw them like literally like right next to each other almost, and
uh,
that's why I noticed it. That being
okay,
said, I mean, it doesn't ruin anything. So the idea is he was worried about being outed. He wasn't. However, Trevor was.
yeah,
Um, which was incredible. And then he was like trying to tell Simon he was going to figure out what he was going to do. And then his plan was that he was going to be the Mandarin one last time. And I thought that was incredible.
yeah. No, it was a great sacrifice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then Simon gets to do the movie. Trevor is replaced by the same guy who replaced him in the in
That was
the
so. And then at the very end, he's like,
who
who played
replaced me?
Bumblebee?" And
And
don't
he's
worry
like,
about it.
Was it Leonardo DiCaprio? Was it? He starts naming all these big time actors. He's like, I wouldn't be too worried about it. And it's just like, because you know he's gonna get pissed about who it was.
Yep.
That was the best part of the whole thing, I think. But that episode, right, where he first off didn't realize that the raft, it wasn't the raft, right? Because I thought it was the raft. It was
Hmm.
not. Um, and the fact that he like finds this guy who doesn't want to do the job really, and like wants him to do the pretends to be an actor learning the role, and then pays the guy like a huge amount of money, and then gets Trevor out of prison by flying, which I thought was also cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really great because obviously at the last episode, it's like, what's going on here? He's like moved on, whatever. Like the
But he
way that they
didn't.
let it off with the last episode, it was like,
He was done.
you can well, no, they said you could pick what direction you're going now. So we're like, okay, he went in this direction, and then as we got more and more, I was, Steph and I were watching, and she's like, "Are we supposed to know that building?" And I was like, "That's Damage Control's headquarters. That is awesome." And then like all the feels came back where it's like, "Oh my god, he still cares and whatnot."
Yeah, I think
I
for me
loved
that
it.
was the big thing too, where it was that, and also too because of his ionic powers, there was no camera footage, which is
Hmm.
also a key piece.
He could
Um,
blur everything.
yeah,
I loved that when he walked by the the agent that was basically hunting him down, and like he kind of recognized him, but like couldn't really like know for certain. So like
well, he thought, you know what it was too? I think it was a combination of two things. That guy doesn't look like he belongs. Why are there two people? Because if you notice, there weren't a lot of two people walking around for the most part, if you noticed. Because the next time they bump into somebody, it's only a one guy walking, if you remember.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of, I guess I didn't really think too much about it because of their cover story, where it's like, oh, he's a new guy, and I'm showing him the ropes and whatnot.
No, but correct. Because nobody knows that there's a new guy, you get
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like, that's
yeah,
kind of my thing. But no, that was incredible. And then he goes to the bathroom, and then goes and finds Trevor, which I thought was great.
yeah.
And Trevor's just like, Simon? And he's like, how are we going to get out? He goes, we're not going to be able to get, they're armed guards. And he's like, we're not going that way. He's like, well, which way are we going? And he's like, you'll see. Just hold on. And he goes up, and I'm just like, that's great.
I know, I
So
loved
he
it.
doesn't have super speed, but he has super flight, or just flight. I don't know. That was stupid of me to say super flight.
So I'm just gonna, so I looked up a picture of Vivian from the episode 7, and she does have a like a neatened up hair. And you're right, it was shoulder length. The Her hair in the first episode was kind of like around chest level.
Okay. It was longer, but not significant enough that it could have
It
been.
wasn't like all down to her butt,
No,
like you were
no, no.
saying.
I got
But
you. I got you.
But yeah, definitely the same actress.
Okay. No, no,
Um,
no. And again, I am not questioning that whatsoever fully. I was just more of like, I'm kind of surprised because she looks so different to
yeah,
me.
like I said, it was one of those things where, like you said, time
Time
had
had
passed,
passed. That was the other
and
thing that I had to take into consideration.
the first episode, she was moving out, so she wasn't really caring about her
Well, it was
appearance
also the
versus
thing
the
too is like she's at her worst at that point because she's trying to break up with this guy without breaking up with him.
she was trying to sneak out. Yeah,
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I there was not a thing I didn't like about it. I loved the doorman. I also loved the fact that we have Eric as well. I also like that they got away from like the millionaire dad thing, which I did like.
yeah, yeah.
I don't think it worked here, obviously, for obvious
Absolutely not.
reasons.
Absolutely not.
Um, but no, they did an incredible job with the characters. I I loved his agent, Simon's agent.
She was great. She was great.
She killed me in every scene because she's like, Simon, I swear to God, if you call me one more time, I'm not going to tell you. I swear I will not tell you a thing.
Oh,
No,
I
she was
loved her. I
great.
loved her. I loved her sass, and I loved her straightforwardness.
He's
Honestly,
like,
just
but you
like
always
always
believed in me. She goes,
straight
Simon,
to the
I
point.
do, but there are a lot of people with talent who aren't a pain in the ass like you. Can you just not? You can't even lay in blood,
Yeah.
Simon. All you have to do is just lay there. Come on, Simon.
Yeah.
She was great. I'll go right ahead.
No, no, no. I was gonna say the only thing that I didn't like, like it wasn't even like I was upset that I didn't find out, which has nothing to do with the main point of the story at all. Is that when the cops showed up at the candy house and you hear the gunshots, is we don't know who got shot and what ended up happening. With the gangster, like the cops showed up and the gangster were like the gangster started walking towards the cops with the gun in his hand.
Yeah, but we know the kid lived.
We know the kid lived, but we don't know what happened to the cops.
That's right. We don't know about the gang. You're right. I just realized
That was the only
yeah.
thing it's the only thing I was disappointed in. I was like, I said that to Steph. I was like, we're not gonna find out what happened.
Well, no, the idea was they showed the kid so we know he's alive. So the assumption is that they kind of all got out scot free is the thought process. Not so much scot free, but like nobody died. Because that kid, if anybody was dying, it was him. No offense.
Oh well, yeah, in that situation. But like once the cop showed up, it was either the cop was gonna die and the gangster was gonna go chasing them down, or the gangster got killed.
Well,
Or
my whole thing
arrested.
was like, the reason why I'm saying like the good thing happened was just because the kid was alive. That's more of how I
Oh
took
no,
it.
I mean obviously, like
I just
yeah.
love the neighbor. That neighbor though was like, they're selling drugs. He's like,
We're
this is
just
whatever.
selling candy.
We're just selling candy. We're not selling drugs.
That
And
was
it's
so
funny because all they're doing is selling candy.
That was so funny. The whole argument was because they were jealous of the candy. It was so funny.
And the best part was, I legitimately thought it was drugs until they were talking about it was legitimately candy.
It was that situation was great.
No, that was perfect. Everything about that was perfect. I don't think there was everything worked. Everything worked for this story. Everything pushed it forward. Because all of this made it so Simon couldn't get a good night's rest for the callback. And so it was like a whole combination of stuff. And I thought it was really well done. I also liked the way Simon and Kovac spoke to each other at the end of their movie premiere, being like, a movie like this should never be remade, but if the story's good, we should do it again. And he's like, we'll talk. He's like, we will talk.
Yeah.
And it was just a nice, because it goes both ways. It goes for their movie, but it also goes for the show as well.
For the show, yeah, absolutely.
I thought that was incredible. I am curious about where it goes now, because the thought process is we're going to be getting what would have been the Great Lake Avengers would most likely be the Hollywood Avengers now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because right now we have Simon and Doorman. And what I'm thinking for Hollywood's Avengers would be heroes that are not great in combat, but would be great for movies.
The big screen. Yeah, the big screen. Yeah.
So like Flatman, is it Big Bertha? Is that her name? Big Bertha. She basically grows. She's like Giganta.
Yeah, I kind of figured. Yeah.
And Flatman is basically like a Timu's version of Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, okay, good. That's good.
And you know what's weird? That explains it to you too. That's
No,
the
no, it
best
does.
part.
100%.
Weirdly enough, it does, and it's just so bizarre.
That was the perfect explanation you could have given me.
Honestly, you knew right away what I was talking about. Like, oh, I got it.
Yep.
There's somebody else too, and I forget who else is in it, but it doesn't matter. It's basically the non-big heroes. I hate saying it that way, but it's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very excited about it. I didn't know what to expect really from this show, and I think even though we got a lot from the trailer, we got nothing. Meaning, like, none of this was what I was expecting in the best way possible.
I wanted to say the trailer, like you said, we didn't know if he was aware of his powers, and he was
Turns
aware
out
of
he's
his
known
powers
since
the
he was
entire
12.
time. Yeah.
I think it was 12 or 11 when he found out about him.
Yeah, young kid,
No,
so-
but he's an adult now, so he's known for a while.
Yep. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Mhm.
And then one thing that I want to, this is not related to the show in a sense, but
Mhm.
eventually, probably one of these days, I do want to kind of take a step back and look at all the MCU shows and kind of figure out where we can place them, because
Now
this
you mean
was-
like ranking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think
I'm for that.
as time has passed, I'm wondering if like the thought process of shows have kind of like shifted around, and because obviously like you and me kind of, I think we're still on the same boat where
We kind of have the same top three, I feel.
WandaVision and Loki are kind of still at the top over there, but like this one is kind of encroaching. It's like there are certain like Moon Knight and Wonder Man, they're kind of encroaching to the top, but do they still?
No, you're correct. But there was such a gap in time between them. You're right. I can't say with confidence.
It's like we have to kind of go back and watch these shows, because I mean.
So I will say this: I've watched WandaVision more than once. Okay, and what I will say is,
I mean, the meaning of the show changes now once you.
No, it does. But what I have to say is, you actually learn more about what's going on because you know the ending now.
Oh.
So like you have it with a new lens of like Agatha's the bad guy, and now you're watching it and you're going, oh,
yeah,
and you
Everything
realize
makes
it's
more
Wanda's
sense,
thing. All everything makes more sense, and you don't. It's like a completely different show. I'll say it's going to sound really weird to say, but it's like it's a different show the next time you watch it, because now you're paying attention to stuff that you didn't think was important because at the time it wasn't.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
But I haven't seen Moon Knight a second time yet. That's another one I'm curious to see if it's still Loki. I've definitely seen more than once because I wanted to watch. I rewatched it to get ready for season 2.
Yeah. I mean, like if we're looking at like from Rotten Tomatoes perspective, Miss Marvel is the best rated MCU show. Which, I mean, I know when we watched it, we were like, this is kind of one of the worst. It wasn't the worst, but it wasn't up there.
I think it was one of those where it was like, I think I had more expectations, you know what I mean, of it?
Yeah.
Because it was a new character. The actress got a huge say in the character development and everything else. Like, I think the character was good. It was the story that was weird. It was like the whole back and forth of like going back to her home country and then she went into the past. It got a little weird.
Yeah. I also remember about that show is like the beginning of it was really boring, and then the second half like really picked up. So like that obviously plays a factor in as an audience perspective, like whether we like it or not.
Mm-hmm. Now, my question for you is when we do that, which will probably not be until there's a longer break for obvious reasons. Do you want to include the Defender Saga or just the Disney Plus shows? I'm asking for a legitimate reason. Just because now Daredevil's in the mix. That's the only reason why I'm asking. I wouldn't be asking this if Daredevil wasn't back.
No, I understand. I feel like we need to stick to the MCU shows, not the Defender Saga.
That's fine. That's fine. So does Daredevil Born Again count?
I would say yes.
Okay, perfect. Nope, that's all I
Because
need to know.
so the reason why I'm saying that at the moment is because you have to look at that as a standalone show because so much time had passed.
That's fine.
It's not the Defender saga, it is the MCU version of the Defender saga.
That's fair. No, I figured I'd
And I
ask
mean, to
because
be
for
honest,
obvious reasons.
no, I get it. And to be honest, we might be watching it as a different set in a different scenario because at that point, depending
There's a
on when we
season
get
two.
free time, there's going to be season 2, and
No,
that will
you're
change
also
the
right.
perspective of the season overall.
No, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. Yeah, I can't argue that whatsoever. Because right now, I think we're good until March, correct?
I believe the next thing doesn't, unless there's a surprise drop.
Well, there
The
still could be
next,
My Adventures of Superman, but that has still
yeah,
not been announced yet. I checked yesterday.
yeah,
Um,
that's
it's
what I mean. Like, unless there's a
the
surprise
the
drop of
thought the
something.
thought is it's going to be this month, I think.
Oh, okay,
But it's a rumor. It's not
yeah,
like set
yeah.
in stone. However,
The next, the next announced thing I believe is
it's March
Invincible.
16th.
Yeah, is Invincible. So
So, Mike, um,
yes,
Earth's Mightiest Heroes, I think, is the next thing we have to watch.
okay.
We're gonna watch season one. Do
Is
not
it?
ask me how many seasons.
I'm assuming it's on Disney Plus.
Yes,
Okay.
I am 99% sure, but
Alright.
there is a 1% doubt of it.
Okay.
I will say this: if it not, we'll find a different one. It's not the end of the world. But I figured because, from what I understand of that show, because I haven't seen it myself, I've only seen clips of it. It is considered the best Avengers show.
Okay.
Um, and I think the roster is Wasp, Hulk, Hawkeye, Iron Man, Captain America. Oh, Ant-Man, but specifically Hank Pym.
Okay.
Weirdly enough, all the other characters do show up. However, Black Panther is not part of the Avengers. He is his own thing, which makes sense. He is the king of Wakanda. Doesn't ruin
Yep.
anything. That's his character. He teams up with the Avengers at times. I believe they also team up with Spider-Man. And I don't think in this one they do, because in this one, if Spider-Man shows up in this, I think he's the Spectacular Spider-Man. And in the Spectacular Spider-Man, there is Deadpool, but I don't think Deadpool's in Avengers. If you understand what I mean.
Okay.
Either way, I just wanted to mention it because I heard it's one of the best.
Yeah.
It's
I've heard good things about that show too. Yeah.
and it's also got the best version of Kang the Conqueror I've heard, and it like rivals what we were expecting this Kang the Conqueror in when we got
The MCU.
yeah, and
Okay.
we obviously didn't get it because this guy is apparently a badass. Again, I've only seen a
Okay.
clip.
I'm looking
But yeah,
forward
so
to
we'll
it.
watch season one, and then we'll do my character spotlight. We'll talk about any trailers that come out, the usual stuff. However, I think that I don't know how many week seasons it is. I think it's like 4 or 5. I don't know for a fact. But either way, I know there's a lot of Marvel stuff we can watch just because I know that we've been heavily focusing on DC lately, and I think we can shift a little bit to Marvel.
Might have to give me a minute.
No. I figured as much. That's why I finished my statement. So whenever you get a chance, you're gonna do your character spotlight. And it looks like you're back. Mike's gonna put a hole through his router. We lost him forever. Now it's the Scott show. But no, the big thing
I'm
is
going
I
crazy
feel
right
like the
now, and
reason
I
why we
know
want
you're
to do Earth's
talking, and
Mightiest Heroes is
I'm like
because
I'm
we
so
might
far
be
delayed
getting
because of this
an evil
trying to
version
connect to the
potentially
internet.
of the Avengers. And I want us to see the good Avengers in the sense of like not from the MCU, but like seeing what they could be in a massive universe from where they have no restrictions, which I think is kind of incredible. But it'll be very interesting to see. We're just gonna have to give Mike a minute, just because I am thinking he's coming back. I don't actually know, um, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, no, I'm very excited. I'm actually excited to watch that because I've heard that series is really good, and I just haven't seen it myself. But I'm gonna go grab my phone to see if he's struggling, and I'll be right back. So please bear with us with our technical difficulties. It should be a short, quick fix. Okay. My hair's a mess. Hide it with my headset. Oh, so Mike's trying to get back in, so we're going to see if that works. If not, I'm going to have to do some fun editing to add him back in later. But we'll give him a couple of minutes just to be on the safe side, and if not, we'll go from there. I mean, I'm almost there. There he is, and I was just talking
Okay.
about you.
All right, that was the weirdest thing because it was constantly like refreshing where it was like try to reconnect to the internet, but then it like the upload button it kept going back from upload complete 0% upload complete. So I was like freaking out. I was like, what's going on?
Just so you know, it says you have more than one tab of Riverside open.
Yeah, I'm gonna close everything. I was keeping it open to try to.
Okay. No, because it's like it's like freaking out for a moment because it's like it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, which makes a lot more sense. Okay, you're back. You're fully back then. Okay, so Mike, we're gonna do your character spotlight. All I was talking about was just how excited I am about Avengers: Mightiest Heroes.
Okay, oh, that's good. Let me try to find my. Did it get closed?
Probably.
Well, that's obnoxious.
Oh, that's a problem.
What happened?
It's only 2 episodes. I mean, 2 seasons.
Oh well, I mean we could.
No, but it's 52 episodes
what?
total. Yeah, 2 seasons, 52 episodes.
All right, we might have to break this down a little bit more.
No, we will, but you're gonna have to give me time to figure out which ones. Okay, bear with me.
That is.
I'm gonna do story arcs. I wasn't prepared for that. I thought it was a while, and I was correct on the episodes, but I was wrong on the seasons. That's why I thought it was 4 or 5 seasons because it was 50 episodes.
That's wild. Okay, I got my character spotlight back up. Okay, are you ready?
Sorry, I am. I'm looking at Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I'm sorry.
Well, you went quiet there. I was like, is my internet already shot?
No. I'm trying to divide this up. That's on me. I'm sorry.
Right. Okay, so my character this week, which is irritating me because every time we have an announcement for like new characters getting announced to the DCU, is when we're focusing on your spotlight. So last week,
I feel the same way because I would have done Doorman.
Yeah. Last week, James Gunn announced that in Man of Tomorrow, Maxima is going to be a part of the movie. Maxima is known as, basically, I'm going to shorthand it right now, is known as one of Superman's love interests. It's not like he doesn't really love her, but she is obsessed with him. So she was first introduced in September of 1989, and I will jump right into it. So in the post-crisis timeline, Maxima is the oldest child of a royal family on the planet Almerac. The fiery-tempered Maxima came to Earth in search of a suitable mate to sire her heir, leaving behind her betrothed Ultra. Maxima's first appearance in Metropolis was a simulacrum of her hang on, let me see if I can. What is this word? It's a representation of a person or thing. Okay, so her first appearance was a representation, not herself, I guess.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So her first appearance was a representation of it because she sent one of her servants to try to convince Superman to be her mate. So it was like someone showed up as a
like as a representative of her, not her herself.
Yes. Um, the Solacrum was destroyed, and her servant was imprisoned. Later, she herself eventually appeared, and she freed her servant and came face to face with Superman. She and Superman argued. Were gen She and Superman, she had argued, were genetically compatible. She should give him what no Earth woman could, which was children. And she was infuriated when Superman rejected her offer, saying he had no desire to father despots. Maxima later reluctantly worked with Brainiac after he destroyed Almerac. However, she eventually rebels against him and joins the Justice League. When the Justice League helped her save Almerac from Starbreaker, the planet's ruling council exiled her. As a Leaguer, she helped fight against Doomsday, and when that version of the League disbanded, she became a member of Captain Atom's Extreme Justice. She considered Atom as potential mate, but he was not interested. During the period of her flirtation with Atom, a jilted Ultra angrily attacked him. Maxima eventually stopped the brawl and sent Ultra back to Almerac. She later had a brief fling with another teammate, Amazing Man, which lasted until the team was dissolved. While part of the Extreme Justice team, she joined other heroes on a trip to Hell itself, mistakenly believing that Superman was trapped there. During the battle, Maxima fell and was lost in one of the 9 rings. She was sent back to Earth when Neron, the current ruler of Hell, was subdued. She offered herself sexually to Superman, again hoping that her recent good deeds would offset her earlier ruthlessness. Superman, now married to Lois Lane, was even less interested in her proposal than before. Angry and humiliated, she joined the Superman Revenge Squad. She swore that Superman had rejected, humbled, and humiliated her for the last time, and threatened that the next time they met, it would truly be war. In the Other Worlds at War comic, Maxima worked with various heroes to battle Imperix before being killed by Brainiac 13. In the New 52, a younger, revamped Maxima is briefly introduced as a member of the Crucible Academy, which is an intergalactic organization that trains its students to become their planet's protectors. She spends the next few issues in that series bonding with Kara before eventually revealing that she is attracted to her. Maxima's homosexuality is the reason she left her home world and the demands of her culture to find an opposite sex partner to produce children with. Additionally, Maxima is revealed to be a title rather than a name. In the DC Rebirth, an older woman who resembles the more traditional pre-Flashpoint version of the character in both appearance and personality briefly appeared as a villain and usurped the title. This version was a former Almeracian soldier serving the true Maxima's mother, who was disappointed with the younger Maxima's reluctance in finding a male mate on account of her homosexuality. Believing her unworthy of the Maxima title and her royal heritage, the usurper would kidnap the younger woman and attempt to take her place. The older imposter was eventually defeated and imprisoned by the combined might of Supergirl, Superwoman, and the real Maxima. I guess, and in this later issue called the DC All In 2025, DC released a comic called Superman Hero for All. Maxima returns to Earth leading an invasion fleet in fury that Superman had married Lois Lane instead of her. With the aid of Cyborg Superman, she captures Superman and locks him in a mental fantasy world while incapacitating or capturing all the rest of Earth's superheroes and causing massive destruction all over the world. Superman finally breaks free, rescues the other heroes, and devastates Maxima's fleet, and both she and Cyborg Superman are captured and held awaiting trial. Yeah. So I think that's kind of interesting that James Gunn is introducing this in the Man of Tomorrow. Like I said, has a bit of a obsession with Superman because you know how all these godly figures and like, oh, we have to find a mate
Yes.
and whatever. So
Yeah, which always throws me off too, but I sort of understand it. Like it works because of it being off world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not an Earth thing; it's an alien thing. But I'm just saying, like in general, I'm like, oh, but yeah, I find that very interesting in a good way. So she's supposedly going to be in Man of Tomorrow, or
yeah.
okay,
Supposedly, James Gunn said that the character is announced. He did not announce
like how she's going to be in there or anything.
Yeah,
No,
he
but I
doesn't
mean, like,
said who he's cast for the role and who what part she's going to play.
correct. Like, yeah, if she's just going to be a cameo or if she's actually going to have a major role.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Mike, while you were doing that, I come to the conclusion of we are going to be, at least for season 1, I can't say for sure for season 2 yet, but for season 1, we're going to watch the first 13 episodes of season 1.
Okay.
And then we'll watch the second half the second week.
Okay. That seems fair.
It looks like they have kind of like a mid-season finale type of thing going on, so it works out for season 1. I don't know if that is the same in season 2, but we'll cross that bridge. I have a couple of weeks to figure that out, so I don't care.
Yep. Okay.
But I figured that's at least a good start. That being said, is there anything else you'd like to talk about, Mike? Are we done?
Nope, that is
so
it. We can
next
wrap
week
it up.
we're going to be talking about any trailers that come out. We're going to be talking about the first 13 episodes of season 1 of Earth's Mightiest Heroes. We're going to be ending with a character spotlight from me. And other than that, if you made it this far into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Scott and Mike signing out of the Black Heel Podcast. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.